Welcome to our demo of commonSKU, the effortless business management platform that powers you to process more orders and grow your business. Here's commonSKU's Vice President of Sales, Samantha Kates.
I am Samantha Kates. I am the VP of Sales here at commonSKU and excited to show you a little walkthrough of how the platform works, a little bit more information around the company, and just give you a good overview of the power behind commonSKU, the main areas that we're really going to help transform in the business, and then go through some next steps and things like that. So just a word of to note that today is not supposed to be a trial of or a trial training or any type of really deep dive on any areas of the platform. It's really designed more to give that big picture and what are the problems that we endeavor to solve and see how that fits into what's going on in your organization. And hopefully, if you like what you see today, then the next step from there would be to get the team on trial. So just a couple of things about the company that I think are a nice place to start. So commonSKU is a fully cloud-based platform. So it enables the team to work from anywhere and to interact directly in the platform as well. There's over 400 distributor companies that are using commonSKU and powering their businesses with it. We are a license-specific product, meaning each person on your team will have their own unique license into the platform. So that way you have full accountability and transparency into what everyone is doing, who needs to do what next. And so the way that that creates the maximum efficiencies is you're not having to live somewhere else outside of your order management system to communicate and get things done. Company has grown tremendously over the last couple of years, and we've really expanded within the organizations or the distributors in the industry that are very brand focused, I would say they would consider themselves really marketers versus distributors. So the kinds of companies that are attracted to the commonSKU community would be our sort of sweet spot is that 7 to 30 employees. We have companies on commonSKU that have over 60 users on the platform, and we have companies that have 2 or 3 users on the platform. So it can work for large teams and small teams, but it's designed for teams, and it's designed to allow everyone from the company to be able to share and to treat commonSKU almost like this secondary employee where everybody interacts with it. Personally, just a little bit about me. So I have been in the industry about 20 years. I was previously on I first started long ago on the distributor side when I was just a wee one, but spent the last many years on the supplier side. So I really understand the whole supply chain, understand the industry really well. And what I think commonSKU does for the distributor is really transformative. It takes a very old school process that a lot of us have just sort of become comfortable with because we're familiar with it. But I've seen companies transform what they're doing, how they're doing it, and how they're able to grow and scale their businesses. Even if business is good, which luckily for all the distributors that we interact with, that's not their issue. Sales might be strong, but they're trying to keep that going, and they're trying to scale what they're doing. So I'm just going to switch some gears here and kind of pop over to what we call our homepage. So what you're looking at here is on the left-hand side is where the company logo is. Left-hand side of the screen is the main navigation bar. And what I'm going to walk through today is around 4 key areas that commonSKU is going to touch. First is around communication. So that's communication with the team, communication with your customers, and communication with your suppliers. So we're going to talk about communication. The second area we're going to talk about is ideation. Fancy word. What does it really mean? How do we generate better ideas? How do we generate more ideas? How do we be in front of our customers, giving them the kinds of ideas that they don't know how to find, but you do, because this is what your business is and this is the true value that you bring. But ideation in the industry has been historically fraught with a lot of time-sucking tasks like searching on search engines for a couple of hours, not exactly knowing what you want, having to go on supplier websites, a lot of cutting and pasting, a lot of manual work, and not really able to speed up the process or to be more creative. So we're going to talk about how commonSKU is going to help with ideation. And then we're going to go into order creation. So how do we create orders? How do we make that a seamless process? How do we make the entire workflow around getting the orders to the customer to approval and then putting it in through the various stages that it needs to get in to get production ready or supplier ready? And how can that all be done where it is seamless and quick and easy? And then lastly, around production management. So from the time that the supplier actually has that order or should have that order until the time that you're actually now ready to bill, that is such a critical cornerstone of your business. And it is one that we see a lot of times is fraught with anxiety, errors, missed dates, issues around inventory problems with suppliers and proofing with suppliers, and all these little things are what slow down the billing process. And at the end of the day, we're trying to bill faster, we're trying to invoice our customer, we're trying to get the orders through production without friction as much as possible. So communication, ideation, order creation, production management, those are the areas we're going to talk about today. So looking at the first thing here, which you see 3 different tabs at the top, this is around communication. So when you have a team, a lot of times, you could even be spread out. You may have the owner and support staff in one location and multiple salespeople in different locations. You might be managing more of a global workforce. We have lots of companies who have sales reps in different parts of the world or have sales reps in different parts of the country. Very, very normal now. And also, you don't want to limit your ability to recruit salespeople because of location. So what commonSKU is going to allow you to do is get everybody working in the same place and also give you as an owner great transparency into what everybody is doing. So the first tab here would be your company name, not our fake distributorship. And this is really a news feed. So if you're familiar with any other social media tools where there's kind of a news feed, same thing here. I'm not typing anything into this box and nobody is hitting send to put it in here. It's actually just rolling up real-time activities that the team is doing. You can see a new data point just popped in because my colleague Parm is probably working in this right now. And so as the team are creating presentations, sales orders, putting in things where their colleagues might need to have some knowledge about, it's going to serve that up. So from an owner perspective, you can quickly just do a scan on the feed and get an understanding of what the team is working on today. From a sales rep perspective, you also can do the same thing, but you can start to leverage your colleagues' ideas. So if I'm scrolling through the newsfeed and I see that Bree put an order in for spring break, I may have a client that would like some items for a spring break. Maybe I'm working with a school or something like that. I can open this up, I can take a look at what she's done, and I can copy some or all of those ideas and put that into a presentation of my own for a different client. And I can do all of that in under 6 seconds. So now you're going to have this team that you may have 10, 15, 20 sales reps who are able to start to leverage the ideas of their colleagues. And you're going to have, owners or production people or inside people who are able to kind of get a feel of what everybody's doing. It's also a great way to communicate with everyone. So we use commonSKU for commonSKU, and I work remote. I'm in Florida. And so we'll frequently post messages or photos or be able to tag one another. And this is a great way to kind of unite the team in one channel for everyone to stay focused. Something else about communication is how do you keep communication tight and organized? And that's when you talk about communicating around projects. So anytime anywhere in commonSKU that you put a comment, and there's many different areas where you're able to do this to put in notes or comments, that note, that comment, that suggestion is going to stay connected to this project. So if I were to put in here, hey, Joe, great job on this order, or can we get a deposit, or any of the little things you might think you want to talk to Joe about this nice $11,000 sale, I hit comment. Joe gets an email notification letting him know, just in case he's not in commonSKU, he gets a notification in commonSKU as well. And then most importantly, that message is now in this order. So if I open up this order, that messaging is there in the notes area of the order. And so nothing gets lost, nothing gets missed. So that's just a little bit about some internal communication tools and kind of a way to see a good big picture of what's going on with the team when you first start your day. Now, typically, the process, if you're a sales rep or you're focused on sales reps or you're managing sales reps, is a lot of them are very reactive. We all are. And so that means that maybe you get an email or you've spoken to your client who has a need, has some type of event coming up. And so to mimic that process and kind of showing you how we handle ideation, I'm going to walk you through a real life example well, I guess I should say a fake life example, but something that may feel familiar for your team of how that process would go in commonSKU. So that would start with identifying which client it is that we're going to be doing this event for. So I'm at the client tab. You can see I have my list of accounts in here. Just a word to note about client data. We can take your client data and absorb that into commonSKU. We provide you with a template that you lay your contact information into, send that over to us, and we'll take care of uploading that into commonSKU. So when you first come on board, all of your clients will be nicely loaded in here. So I'm working with Florida Memorial Hospital. That's my client that sent me an email, and I'm going to click on that and open them up. In the client record, I have everything I need right here at my fingertips. So I have all of their contact information. I can see quickly what are the last activities that this account did, whether or not I'm the only rep on this account or not. So this is visible to the team, makes it really easy to jump in and help each other out. But specifically, my client is named Mark Kearns. He's the CEO, so he's right here. He actually sent me an email and let me know that they have a need. So I'm going to go into the contact area and I'm going to pull up his name. And this is the aspect of the CRM that's really drilled right into the individual contacts your team's working with. CRM can be a little bit of a dirty word, but it's very, very easy to use in commonSKU. And what makes a CRM sticky is if it ties directly into your process. If you're trying to use a CRM that lives outside of the rest of your system, it usually fails, probably 95% of the time, because it's just extra work. The CRM within commonSKU actually represents a big benefit to the rep because they're going to keep track of what it is they're working on with these accounts. They're able to create tasks and reminders to continuously follow up and not lose sight of these leads, but they're also able right from here to go ahead and start a project. So they're going right from the notes or the call or the action into actually creating an order. So everything is linked and everything is synced up. So Mark sent me, maybe I spoke to Mark on the phone and I've now inputted this note. He's looking to create some brand awareness around new employees, wants some ideas. I'm putting in a little note. So we do have a mobile version of commonSKU. So if your reps are out on the road, they can put this into the iPhone or Android app. And if you have the kind of structure in your team where the sales rep is really selling, but they pass off kind of the next steps to someone on the inside, then that's when you take advantage of our tagging feature and you can tag any member of the team and say, can you help? As you see, I did that already with Catherine above here. And I can take it one step further is that I can create tasks and reminders for other people on my team too. So I'm busy. I want to get this going. This could be a really big project. I know Ashley or Catherine in the office is going to help me out on this. So I just want to make sure that they get back to me by tomorrow because I don't want to miss out. And so I hit post on this message. By hitting post on this message, I have passed that baton to someone on my team and dropped that task into their task list, which is found in commonSKU. I have kept a record of what this event is, and I've now started this process to create this project. So Ashley gets that message right away. She can jump in here, and she's going to go ahead and create that project. So she hits actions, she hits create project, and it's going to bump us right into a screen that starts this workflow. So the first step around a project like this is how do we get ideas to the client faster? How do we get good ideas to the client? So I'm now opened up in a project here. Within commonSKU, we call everything that has all the elements to an order a project. A project can have nothing in it, which means it's really just an open opportunity that you haven't done anything with yet, or it can go all the way to the invoicing stage. But everything rolls up into one project number, so that's how we keep everything really nicely organized. Within this area of the project, we're really at that ideation stage. So the typical path for a sales rep might look something like this. They open up ESP separately. They start searching for some ideas. So this is new employee startup kit. So what they're going to search for in ESP is going to be as good as what their brain can think of. Probably you have some great people working for you, but there's a limit to how many ideas they can come up with. So they start hunting and pecking around on ESP and they pull some products in, and then they have to create a presentation. Maybe they use ESP to do that. Maybe they do PowerPoint. So it's a little bit of this disconnected process from the rest of the order. But that's all the ideas they really have. Maybe they get lost in that rabbit hole of going to some of their favorite supplier websites, identifying products, having to write down the SKU numbers, put those back into ESP. It is very easy to lose 2 or 3 hours on something like this. The problem with that, not only is it time consuming, it's that it doesn't really allow to take the power of what the supplier really could offer for this idea because they don't know about this opportunity. So even if the suppliers are coming into your office and showing product, they're not showing product at the exact same time that you have this need. So what we do to help around communication is we have something that we call connected workflow. Connected workflow is how do we connect you to your supplier in a highly strategic way, and allowing them to insert themselves and do some of this work for you. So one of the ways that we do that is, going back up here to our homepage, is through our community. The commonSKU community is an amazing, amazing a group of powerful, awesome distributors. Not only are they united in the platform in the app that you see here, but we put on a number of events throughout the year. And so there's lots of time for you to sort of bond and mesh with the community at Broad. But one of the great resources you have with the community is being able to post right in here in real time what it is you're looking for. So you can go into here and say you're looking for a suggestion, just like Sean did this morning, and shortly thereafter, the suppliers will begin to engage with you. But instead of just responding and saying, check out this product on our website, they actually embed the items that they think are befitting of this request, so that the only thing your sales rep needs to do is click a single button and can drop this entire idea right into the presentation you're working on. So photo, description, pricing, everything can be edited, of course. If you want to change pricing, that's fine. But you have just gone from question, supplier doing the work, and putting this idea in your client's hands, and you didn't have to type or search anything. So you'll find on the community over and over and over again, just tons of engagement in suppliers. Now, just a word about suppliers. You can work with any supplier that you want on commonSKU. So there's thousands that are already built in, but we do have a subset of suppliers that are part of our connected workflow. Approximately 60 or 70 or so that have this feature, and they've been trained on how to use it. They have someone dedicated to the commonSKU channel. They're really outstanding. And if you work with some suppliers that you love as well, you can always recommend them to us, and we'll work to get them as part of our connected workflow. So that's one way that we're going to help with ideation. And then looking at our order here, that's great. That's one way we can do that. The other way is still go the old school way of going into ESP, and that's fine, or Sage, or Distributor Central. So we integrate with all three. And the integration is really nice, especially with ESP. It's probably the most streamlined of all three. So instead of leaving the platform to look up what it is you're looking for, we're able to do the search right from here. We're not leaving here. We're not getting distracted. It's going to serve up the results of the different items. Anything you like, you simply click on it and it drops it in. You're also within commonSKU able to develop your own product database. So if you're selling items that are maybe import or not found in the typical databases in the industry, no problem. We're going to allow you to create those products so you can serve them up right alongside of anything else for the customer to see. So that's nice. One other way that we can get the suppliers to sort of help and through this connected workflow is through collections. So collections are where suppliers have come in and they've created almost these like Pinterest style boards based on ideas and themes, really fun, really easy. You can browse collections at any time. And collections will allow you to kind of have a virtual trade show sort of coming to you. And it's all organized in a way that makes it kind of easy to think about who you should sell this to or who this would be a good fit. So browse the different items. Anything you like, you can add to any project, or you can even take the whole collection and turn it right into a presentation and shoot it out right away. So you really have only done a couple of clicks and you've put a bunch of ideas in your client's hands. So collections are awesome. They're wildly popular. Lots of really neat ways that you can be very proactive using collections. But if you are working on a project like we are today for employee startup kits, no faster way to get some fun ideas than kind of browsing collections and dropping them in. So that's around ideation. We're going to get the ideas faster. We're going to bring the supplier into it. You also have the option to communicate privately with the supplier. So if you hit the collaborate button in here, that will allow you to engage back and forth with your suppliers that you want to bring into this project without anyone else in the community seeing this post and any other suppliers seeing their responses. So lots of great ways that we're going to help you with that. Once you bring the items into the presentation, this is really the stage where the client is trying to evaluate what they want. Lots of times presentations might have 10, 15, 20 ideas in it because you're just really trying to get them to sort of narrow down the scope. Presentations are not necessary to do. You can absolutely jump the track and start right at the order stage. The sales order is the only critical component to create. The presentation or estimate are not. The important thing to note is that you're going to be able to go through each of these stages with no rekeying whatsoever. So you're going to create the presentation, you're going to send this off to the client, and the client is going to have an amazing experience. I would say that if you were to talk to our customers, one of the very first things they would tell you is how much their clients love that they're on commonSKU, even though they don't know what commonSKU is. They just love the experience. So if you're one of the distributors who really pride themselves on creativity or creating beautiful looking presentations, or maybe you go one step further and do these great PowerPoints, we really try to help with that as much as possible. So you're able to make custom backgrounds, custom templates, change all the colors, really try to make this very personalized either to the client you're talking to or the project specifically. If you still want to go the route of creating PowerPoints, you can still do that too and kind of incorporate that right into this as well. But the clients love that this is a click of a button and it's a web link for them, so they're not downloading anything. So from a client perspective, they're seeing all the different options. They can get a dynamic experience because the colors and the options will change, and they can also communicate back and forth with you right from that screen. So they're not having to exit something, hit reply, then wonder who said what. They are able to maintain a steady stream of communication right inside this presentation. And you will get alerted every time that there's a new note or a new piece of communication in here. So the goal of every presentation is to get this to turn into an order. So the order then, once the client has determined what they want and the quantity, it's a click away to create the sales order. And that brings us in here to our sales order stage. So we've gone from presentation to sales order, and the sales order is going to have all the data in it that we pulled in from the presentation. And this is where we're going to add a little bit more color to it. So anything you didn't put in the presentation, you're going to want to put in here now. So that might be like artwork or any other instructions, etc. So our customer has narrowed down that they want, 200 of this notebook and 200 of this bottle and 200 of this shirt. So once we bring the items in, you can see we've added the artwork. Just a word about artwork. One of the other ways that we help with organization is that all the client logos are stored at the company level in commonSKU. So each one of your clients will have a library where you can store all of their logos, no limit on size. There's a reader built in, so you can always see those logos even if you don't have that software. So this is a fantastic place to keep it organized and stored for anyone in the company to access as needed. So we've already brought our logo in. If you didn't have the logo sitting in the library, just upload it right here. You're going to put in your decoration information. Adding different decoration features are incredibly easy to do. Go ahead and add different locations or maybe different run charges. I can check live inventory as well. So I just want to make sure that HIT actually has this product on the shelf and is not going to disappoint my client. So I'm good there. And this looks good. And for the apparel, roughly the same thing. The only difference with apparel is I need to add my size and color breakdown. So I can also make sure that there's enough shirts on the shelf there. I've got my decoration in here. So you can see that I built an order that has multiple items, multiple vendors, and different pieces of artwork. And it was all within minutes for me to create that. So now that I have my sales order the way I want it to look, I'm going to double check my margin. This looks good. And I'm going to send the sales order off to the client. So this is the next stage in the client communication side and how you're able to kind of continue to wow them along the way. They want this process to be easy. They want to make sure they know what they're getting. It's very easy for them to understand, and they can put this into motion quickly. So you're going to send the sales order from commonSKU directly. Everything you're going to send to the client is going to come directly from here. It's still going to come from you and your email address. But the nice thing is you're not having to leave the platform to do that. The other thing to note around these different stages is how do we keep track of where orders are? How do you get your team, if you have an inside team or an order entry team, to know what they need to do next? And a lot of that is going to be kept around statuses. So orders go through various statuses, as you see here, and these are moving through the system automatically. So when you first have a new sales order, it's going to be statused as new. It means you haven't done anything with it yet. You're going to send this order to the client to approve. It's going to automatically drop that in pending client approval. When the client receives it, Client receives a really streamlined, clean sales order, easy for them to understand what it is they've committed to, and then they have the ability to digitally approve this order. So what's great about that is this order is sitting in pending. All of a sudden they hit that green button and the order is automatically going to drop to client approved. When the order drops to client approved, the sales rep and the order rep will get a notification by email letting them know, just in case they happen to not be in commonSKU. And they'll also, in the notes area, the overview tab of the project will also keep a record of the client date and time and who approved that order. So accountability, we feel very comfortable that this order is ready to go into production and there's no questions about any of that. So this is typically where we see a production person come in. They need to generate those POs and kind of get them out the door. So we know this order is approved. The next stage around this order is to get this into the supplier's hands. So we do that by just updating our shipping tab. We're just going to let each supplier know where they should ship. HIT can ship directly to our client. Nothing really complicated there. The only one that we have a little bit of a different change with would be our apparel. We're buying the shirt from Alpha, so I'm sure as all of you know, they don't decorate. So Alpha is going to go ahead and ship it to our decorator. So we're going to select a decorator. On the right-hand side, now we're going to select who our decorator is. So you can choose your own decorator, add your own decorator, use anyone that you wish. And we're going to tell our decorator to ship it to the client when they're done. So all we're doing here is just letting each of these parties know who they should be sending something to. But because we've selected a decorator on this screen, that immediately told the system that this is a decorated order and to split that PO, to send the decorated pricing and information to this person and to send the blank goods to this person. So that's how commonSKU accomplishes apparel orders and makes selling apparel as easy as selling hard goods. So when I go to generate my POs, as I have here, actually I'm going to roll these back because I must have played with this. Now the system has created the 4 purchase orders for this project. One click of a button, 4 POs are done. I have a purchase order for HIT, for Gemline, for Alpha for the blank goods, and my decorator, all done. You can see that the status it's going to automatically come into is called created. Created is the beginning of the production process. And so now we're kind of ending the stage around order creation that I talked about, one of the main tenets commonSKU covers, and we're going to move towards that umbrella around production management. Production management might be where you have someone who this is their full-time job. They might be managing 40, 50, 60 purchase orders at a time, and all of the little micro changes that occur around those POs, whether there's problems, inventory issues, delays, miscommunication, lost artwork, bad addresses, all of that needs to be wrangled and organized so you have a stress-free situation around production management. So that starts with a created purchase order. When you've created a purchase order, it tells you that your next stage is to get this to the supplier. So we're going to send this to the supplier directly from commonSKU. We are integrated fully with promo standards. We are the furthest distributor network and platform along, second to Staples. So this is a huge initiative for us to automate and integrate directly with the supplier network. HIT, for example, is one of our partners in this. So HIT purchase orders will have the ability to be able to send electronically directly into their databases, which is amazing. So we're going to send this purchase order to the supplier. Supplier is going to receive the PO, artwork, packing slip, shipping label, everything they need to move this order into production. And you're going to send that directly from here. So you're able to get that streamlined without having to leave commonSKU to do that. As soon as you send the purchase order off to the supplier, it's going to automatically change the status to submitted. As soon as the supplier receives the PO, they have same functionality actually that your end user had. So they have the ability to click and approve this order. So if this is a promo standards enabled supplier, then actually order status will be live and automatic. If it's a supplier who's not integrated with promo standards, they'll click that green button. By clicking that green button, that's going to move the order from submitted to confirmed. So what we're doing here is we're really just trying to give your production person this very big picture view of exactly where are my orders at all time without having to chase them to the extent that they certainly that they may have had to in the past. So I'm going to kind of jump back from this screen. I'm going to show you what production looks like as a whole, because right now we're just sort of in this individual project. But if I zoom out, how do we manage production and what does production management look like in commonSKU? So I'm going to go back out to our main toolbar here and go into the operations area. So the operations area will take me into this screen here. three elements to production management, which is the entire production process, supplier billing, client invoicing. So the job of production is to move orders through so that they can get into the billing and invoicing stage. I'm going to, for today's purposes, isolate only this project number. Your production person doesn't have the luxury to do that probably. They're probably looking at every crazy purchase order they have out there, which could be dozens and dozens of lines. But just for today, we're just going to show you the 4 purchase orders related to this project. What's so amazing about this area of commonSKU is that it allows you to do every single activity you can think of that you need to do with an order without leaving the screen. And I'm also able to serve up data in a way that allows me to be very focused. So maybe I just want to look at orders that have problems or orders that have shipped. Maybe I want to actually isolate only a single supplier and really get to the bottom of cleaning up all of those orders. Perhaps I'm a production person, but only for Samantha. So I want to look at just the orders that I have to take care of. So you can see there's a lot of ways that you can start to segment this information so that you can be really productive and streamlined. Some of my favorite features are around these headers here. So first of all, you can sort by these headers. So just helps feel a bit more organized. Particularly love next action because this is something that we don't always think about. We know when it's supposed to be in hands. We know when it's supposed to ship. But next action is that little micro task that your inside person needs to do. So if they speak to HIT and HIT tells them there's some kind of a problem, then I want to go into the notes tab and I want to quickly document what that call was. You know, HIT said they are, short 5 pieces, will ship next Thursday. And I probably want to let the rep know just a little FYI of kind of what's going on so I can use my tagging feature and let the rep know what's going on. And that's great. Now, to remind myself to follow up on this, I'm going to mark this manually as a follow-up. I just need that visual so I can keep track of this. And I also know that HIT told me this would ship next Thursday. So you know what? I'm going to put my next action date as Wednesday. And that's it. I've now created a follow-up. I've let the rep know what's going on. And I've put my next action date. So if I'm managing 50, 60, 70 purchase orders, it's really hard to remember what is the next time I need to do something. So all of these little things in here is going to help from production of keeping things organized and not losing a single day. So I'm working through my different orders. I'm able to manage the proofing process right from commonSKU. So the client is going to receive, once the supplier proof comes in, I'm going to upload it into here. And I'm going to send my client a proof approval. So from the client perspective, they've received these really beautiful interactive presentations, sales orders, and now a proof approval. So they're going all through out the process in a really clean way for them. They can approve this, they can make any changes, and all of that is able to be monitored right here in the production screen. So I don't have to leave here to send the proof, to make comments about the proof, etc. So all of that is handled from one place. At some point in this great process, this order will ship. And so if it's a promo standards enabled supplier with shipping notification and tracking, that will automatically flow through here. If it's a supplier that you're monitoring on your own, you can put in the date that it shipped, you can drop in the tracking information, and you can go ahead and mark this order as shipped. Depending on your internal process of how you go through the billing stages, shipped doesn't necessarily mean it's ready to bill because you may not know what the supplier charged you. You may not be ready to bill, but the last and final stage within commonSKU is called ready for billing. So your customer success person, when they walk you through commonSKU and they're really onboarding the team, they're going to get to know your process really well and understand when do you like to invoice. One thing to know is within commonSKU, you can invoice at any time. You can invoice at the sales order stage. You can wait until you receive a supplier bill. You have total flexibility. But once you do receive that supplier bill, you're going to vouch it right in here, and you then would mark that order ready for billing. Once all of the purchase orders against an order are marked ready for billing, that will automatically drop it into a ready to be invoiced tab. So that order, nothing can get lost, nothing can get missed. You can't have that uh-oh moment where you get a supplier bill later and then you realize you already had sent out the invoice, because the system won't end up in this bucket until those things have been marked as ready to be billed. So your accounts receivable person or bookkeeper will come in, pick up that order, make sure that they have everything that they need, charge all the different charges that they may have left out, so any freight or shipping or that kind of thing, and then generate the invoice right from commonSKU. So client will receive everything to be look and feel the same. total consistency across the board, a very clean and easy to understand invoice, and then the ability to pay live by credit card, should they choose to, right from here. So for them, their experience has been totally seamless. Now, if you have the kind of client who likes to be hands-off, much more maybe millennial, likes that kind of e-commerce feel, I highly recommend taking advantage of our client portal feature. So you can send them a portal link at the beginning of a project, and it allows them to essentially self-monitor and have everything at their fingertips, including order status. So once orders go through these different stages, they're going to be kept apprised of that. If it ships, it will also provide the tracking information for them to self-track their orders. This is all driven by you, the distributor. So you can decide which clients to receive this, and you can also decide what information you're going to push into there. But we don't reveal anything. We don't reveal any problems or anything like that. The only thing we reveal is whether it's in proofing, it's in production, and it's shipped. So they won't really be made totally aware of anything that's wrong. But this is an awesome feature for those clients that kind of just like to self-monitor and sort of stay out of your hair as much as possible. So from a client perspective around communication, they've gotten everything that they need. You've been able to facilitate this entire project. And if I roll back up into the overview tab, this is where everything is going to be logged. There's an entire history of the project. Every time the order goes from stage to stage, it's going to show you the picture of who the user was that did it, the date and time that it occurred. So you have full transparency into the history of a project. You can communicate back and forth with the team. And so now the team is totally united on their projects. They feel very comfortable that things are moving forward. You don't have situations where salespeople are badgering your inside people for information, because everything is visible to them. And they're able to go back to doing what they do best, which is to sell. And the inside people have the empowerment that they need to move these orders through. So that's how commonSKU is going to go through the ideation process, the order creation, production management, and kind of keeping that communication around the entire project fully streamlined. The last and final stage within the platform is to actually just push these invoices into your accounting platform, accounting package. So we integrate with QuickBooks. We integrate with all versions of QuickBooks. So you can, your bookkeeper will probably come in here daily, batch the invoices, and go ahead and push those right into QuickBooks directly. So that is a complete workflow from the time the client had the idea until the time we got that invoice right into your accounting software, so that you can pay your taxes and pay your suppliers and pay your people. Speaking of paying your people, that's all managed in commonSKU as well. So in the admin section, a couple of things, just housekeeping areas. You're able to maintain very robust commission structures, really easy to kind of tackle those depending on how you want to structure that. So there's a lot of features around commissions. And then you, through the reporting area, is how you actually pay those commissions. So all of that is handled inside of commonSKU. There's full section around permissions. So there's a lot in here that's very open and very transparent. We really believe in that. That is how you really get the team fully focused on what they should be doing. But if there's some areas, sensitive reports and certain things like that, absolutely go into the permissions area and start to kind of identify what those things are and who should see it. Email templates. Awesome way to kind of scale what you're doing. So all along the way, when you're sending this communication from commonSKU, you can build out these email templates so that when you're sending a presentation or you're sending the sales order, you're templating some of that language. You're not having to reinvent the wheel every single time, and all of that is going to be kept in here too. So that's a little bit around some of the admin. There's full reporting features in here. Great thing about our reports is because your team is using commonSKU from beginning until end. They're not using it just from the order stage. You're able to see a whole view into the business that you were never able to see before. So taking a look at what your reps have sort of in production or at the sales order stage is a lagging indicator. This is the stuff we already know. And so I can get a big picture of what's going to be billing in the next 30 days or so, but I need to start to get a better picture of what's coming. So by being able to drill down and seeing how many opportunities have they opened, how many presentations have they created, now I'm starting to get a better picture into 60 days, 90 days from now. And if I have a team where maybe I have more employed reps and I really want to start to coach them better on what the activities they should be doing to roll up to better results, I have visibility into that too because of the CRM. So the CRM inputs are going to roll up into outcomes. The outcomes are going to roll into orders, and I have visibility from beginning to end of that whole process. So all of that is in the reporting area. So a lot we didn't get to cover today. The one last feature that I like to show, because it's new, we just rolled it out of beta, is called our shops feature. So shops are amazing. Shops are the ability for you to create almost like a presentation, almost as easy as creating a presentation, but it allows the client to order again and again. So it's generating reoccurring revenue for you, and it's keeping that loyalty, and it's helping the client because now they just have one link to order what they want. They can share across different divisions. So you can create a shop either for a single client or multiple clients. So one just for a single customer, or one that you want to do yourself and send it out to 100 customers. Really easy to do. Identify the products that you want to put in here, just like you're making a presentation. Pick some graphics for the behind the scenes of how it looks. Send this link off to the client, or as many clients as you can. And so clients will receive this nice curated store that you've put together for them. And they can go ahead and add items into their carts and check out. Probably the neatest thing about the shops within commonSKU, which makes this really unique, is that once those orders come in, they are sitting here ready to go into production. No rekeying, no lost time, nothing that you have to print off and then put into another system. It is a complete seamless circle from the time that they pick the item and check out into the time that you can put these orders into production. So there is an endless use case of how many shops you can probably think to create, and how your clients would probably love the opportunity to have some of these. So they're quick and easy to create. Then the clients, of course, love being able to have something like this so that they don't have to keep bothering you for reorders and things like that. So kind of worth showing a little bit about shops at the end. So hopefully that gave you a bit of a global understanding of how commonSKU works. It is very robust. There's a lot of areas that we don't get to in these webinars, of course, but hopefully that's enough just to at least keep your interest and have you take the next step. A couple little things around the company. So pricing, very straightforward. It's $99 a month per user. There's no contract. So it's pretty straightforward there. If you have, we have a difference between smaller teams and larger teams. The only difference there is if you want to take advantage or need to use our API for any reason. So there's a flat monthly fee on top of the $99 per month. This includes everything you saw here, but all support, all onboarding, all training is included. So we have an incredible team, one that you probably get to know pretty well. So speaking about kind of next steps, next step is typically around setting up that trial. So getting the team to actually get into it, helping to identify the different roles on your organization and how they're going to interact with commonSKU. We kick that off with a session with one of our trainers. So it's a one-on-one session so that the whole team can really learn how to use the basics. We give you keys to the car for the next 10 days to use it for real. It's a live system that would be yours if you came on board. And we check in with you with a Q&A session towards the end. And if you're ready to onboard, you can activate at any time. You will be assigned a dedicated customer support person, so that will be your person, but our support team is also open. So if you have a chat request or you have an email or you need to contact anyone, any one of the support people can be of help to you. Onboarding is done all virtual. So we do onboarding in 5 sessions with the team. We break that up by role and responsibility so that we're focused the right people on the right calls so that everybody kind of comes together then in a united way. So you don't need bookkeepers on your production call. You don't need production people maybe on your presentations and those kinds of things. So we're able to kind of delineate the team out that way. As I mentioned at the beginning, we are definitely a lot more than just a platform. So the commonSKU community is incredibly powerful. Please take advantage of the different resources on our site, the different guides we have in there. And if you want to get a feel for what some other customers have to say, I personally love every one of these people and I'm absolutely proud of the different journey they've taken and how they've been helped by us. So feel free to dig into that. Our events, I'll probably end here, but this is really what makes everything kind of come together and truly sing. So we put on 3 distinct events, well, technically 4. The first and the largest is SKUCon. This is done the Sunday before Expo. So we just kind of came off that one. It's a 1-day kind of visionary conference packed with great speakers and so much inspiration, and it's an amazing, amazing day. We follow that up with commonSKU University. So that is a half-day event that's all for our users. So it's a hands-on commonSKU specific event, and that's the Monday of Education Day at Expo. We just launched last week our third SKU camp, which is in Pittsburgh this year. And this is a boot camp designed for owners. It's a multi-day event. It's a very roll your sleeves up and get prepared for the next year kind of thing, but probably very different than any other industry event you may have been to. It is super real and down to earth. And so we're crazy excited about that. That's in the fall. And then lastly, our commonSKU sessions, which is our newest event. One day sales training events designed for promotional product salespeople. Nothing like it in the industry. We're doing it in 4 cities, really manageable, like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. So we really encourage you to bring your teams, kind of find the location that might be closest to you. Hopefully, for those of you on the call, some of them are driving distance, but it's a packed day with awesome content, really focused on the sales and sales growth. So that's a little bit just beyond the platform and things that you can take advantage of, whether you're on commonSKU or not. But next steps would be to kind of share with me a little bit about your company. I'll reach out to all of you following the call just to get a better picture of how we can help, what brought you to us, and see if we can get you moving in the right direction. So I thank you so much for your time. I'm really looking forward to continuing the conversation, and I hope everyone has a terrific rest of the day.